There we go. Alright, so there's that part. Now I'm going to start putting all these in here, but of course I need to put tape on them. I think that's better for borders. This will work just fine right here. You will go through a lot of tape or glue, whatever you're deciding to use on your project, that's for sure. I have a puppy that likes to bark at other dogs, and he must hear our neighbor puppy. Heard him just run down the stairs. All right. Okay, so now I'm going to place these on the inside. Remember where I scored them? We're going to fold that, and I'm centering it from the, I'm using the score here as my side. And so I'm going to center it between the score line and the edge. And leave a nice little border. It looks like it could be 1/4 of an inch border around it. If you'd like to, you can actually take your tape, the backing to your tape, and fold it up a little bit, and then find where you want to place it, and then take your tape and just pull your backing up. That's a way to pull your tape off. And then this one we are going to set right underneath it, and that is what creates your cascade, so I'm going to do that all the way down. Just kind of bumping it up. This does take a little bit of time, but once you get it down, it's so rewarding to know that you have this awesome book you can do anything with. Give it away. Ooh, Mother's Day. That's tomorrow. Be great for a Mother's Day gift. I normally give my mother-in-laws a little scrapbook for Christmas. I think they will be getting a folio scrapbook this time. And it's technically called an interactive scrapbook folio. So if you want to know the name of it, that's what it is. It's an interactive scrapbook folio. And the only reason why it's interactive is because of the cascades and all the different ways of opening it is what makes it interactive. And folio, yeah, I'm still questioning that one. Otherwise, it's an interactive scrapbook. Oh, yeah. When I think of folios, I'm thinking about artist folios. Alright, so there's our cascade. Just like that. Now we need our base for our cascade, and this is our closure, which we will put at the bottom and put a magnet on it to close it up. And we'll also bring that down and give it a nice edge. And this is 8 by 4 1/4, and it's scored at a 1/2 inch on the bottom. Or top, or whatever, but it's going on the very base of this. And we will put some tear tape on it. But before I put that in place, I'm going to score these down so they lay nice. I hope you guys can see this okay and my lighting is okay, because this is such a great little project. Okay, so now I'm going to place this on the bottom, and I'm going to give it the same edge that I have up here, the same amount of space. And I'm going to lay it on this to make sure I am centered, because it'd be kind of silly for it to be hanging off of it. Alright, so there that is. So this will be the base with the magnet, the closure, to our cascade. And magnets. Okay, so these magnets I picked up at Walmart in the photo section. It's so you can put photos on your refrigerators or notes, but some Walmarts don't have them. My husband ordered them for me from Amazon. So in their 1-inch squares, and they have tape on them. So I just tear off a corner. Is this on? Oh. Come on. I want the... There we go. And I'm going to place the magnets on top of each other because I want to make sure they're connecting. And then I'm going to peel the tape off. Place it where I want it. Just press it down. And then peel the other one off. Yeah, that sounds like a good magnet too. Cool. So these are slightly different than the one I found at Walmart, but it still works, and it looks like there's less of them in this package, so I'm not... There we go. See our nice little closure. So there's one side. Okay, so now we have the other side. There is, I have I'm using three 8.5 by 11 sheets. I have one that's cut at 9 3/4 by 7.5. And then I have two that's cut at 9.5 by 7.5. And I'm going to score these. So what I want is the two that's at 9.5 by 7.5. I want these to be the top and the bottom of the page. So these will flip into each other. And then the 9 3/4 by 7.5, that's going to be the one that closes on top. So this 9.5 by 7.5, I'm going to score on the side here. I'm scoring it at 1/2. And then 3/4. So let's make sure I got the right one. 9 3/4 by 7.5. All right, so I'm going to score it at 1/2 and then 3/4. So score it at 1/2 and then 3/4. So that's my side. Okay, and then my other ones are going to be scored. I'll turn it to the side because it's going to be the top and bottom. I'm scoring at 1/2 inch. And 1/2 inch. These will be my top and bottom to all that section that's folding into each other. Alright, so I'm going to put tear tape on them. And I'm using the 1/4 inch again. probably should be using the half, but I am not for sure. Guess I'm not used to using it yet. Maybe with more practice I'll feel more secure on using it. I'm afraid I'm gonna get some excess over and then it's gonna stick in places I don't want it to stick, so we'll just do this. I'm basically putting this in the center and just going from there. And then you can take your burnishing tool and run over them just to make sure they're down. Alright. So this is on the inside of the book of the flap. So we have a top and a bottom, which remember I'm using these lines, the cardstock I put down on to cover the inside of the book as my borders. So those are my guidelines, and you don't want to place this on a score line because you want that to shut. And you don't want to place it on the gusset because it needs to shut here also. So I am going to put my inside one in first. Let's take a look. Because this is going to flip inside. And that should be out far enough. Yep, I'm going to do this first, this outer piece first. And then I'll put those in next. And remember I told you can peel this tape and leave some of it hanging so you can finish the backing. And I'm literally putting this right on that paper. So I'm using that edge of that paper that I used for the inside as my guideline. So I'm pressing it down at the top, pulling my... There we go. And if you feel, just go ahead and give it a little score. But just don't get it in the gusset because you need to fold it. Alright, now this will be the top. And don't put it on the score lines because these need to be folded. These need to get their fold. So I'm still using that border as my guideline, so... Alright, one more piece. Then I'm still using that edge right here as my as a guideline. You want to make sure you're even with your top piece. I'm going to flip this around. You'll kind of match them up. And then of course go up to your guideline that you're using, your paper, the edge. Make sure it's even. Alright, now I'm going to pull my paper to the backing of my tape. There we go. So there's that piece. So there's the inside of your book, which is your left side. Now I have another piece that flaps right here. So save your scraps. There's my scraps. And that flap, that closure, is 7.5 by 4 1/4. And none of those are going to work. So let's get this paper. Alright, so I am doing 7.5 by 4 1/4 is what I'm using my closure. So there's my 4 1/4. Most of the time you have enough scraps to do this. I don't know why I don't. I thought I had a scrap for this. 7.5. Okay. Then it is scored at 1/2 and then 3/4. And this is a piece we want it to flip, and then we're going to put a magnet. Alright, so we are scoring this at 1/2 and then 3/4. 1/2, 3/4. Alright. And we are going to put this piece right here, we're going to center it, and we're going to put a magnet on it, and then this is going to hold all the left side together. It's kind of hard to be organized when you're trying to demonstrate something, so all my stuff's there. Just fold your score lines. Alright, so I'm going to want to center this right here. You can always pause this and work your measurements to work on your next piece. And I hope you do. I hope everybody tries and makes one of these. These are just, they're so much fun. And I took it into my coworkers and they all absolutely loved it. And I thought that was really cool because it was something I've just wanted to try to see if I could do it. And because I've always wanted to make my own scrapbook from scratch. Okay, I'm making sure my magnets are matching up. So I'm going to put a magnet down here so we have a nice little closure. And I'm happy this has tape on it because that means I don't have to tape it. And then just make sure your edges are popped up. Alright, so there is my closure. Alright, that is the left side. Done. Now you just need to figure out how you're going to decorate it. Alright, left side done. Let me show you this left side. And then I'm going to start my next video. We'll be doing the right side. So here's a little recap of the left side. Here's that flap we just finished. And I have everything, all the magnets are covered. So most of the measurements that you use, all your cardstock, or your pretty paper that you're going to use, just going to be cut down just a little bit more. I used an 1/8, sometimes a 1/4 of an inch border. And here's the other magnet from the inside. You can't see it, but it's right there, and when you close it, you can hear it flap. And then, of course, the cascade that we just finished. And then here's that one piece, and then the inside that we just finished. So here's the first part of the book. We will start the next part on my next video. So I hope I've inspired you to work on a interactive scrapbook folio. Thanks for watching, and I will be back for part 2 of our scrapbook folio.